Frank, Frank, so I need to update this now here, password too?
That's probably not the time to do that.
Anyway, I'm like, oh my gosh.
You had a good shot?
That's
You
all
had a good
right,
shot of me
I
already,
can do it
right
later.
out of the gate?
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I know, I'm like, oh my gosh.
We can start early. I'd like to call the Tuesday, February 15th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
All right. First item on the agenda is opening and reading of bids. There are none. We'll move on to reports and requests. First is the Board of Commissioners. First item is the accounts payable docket. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, next up, we have some of the great things that we get to do as elected officials, and that's kind of celebrate the achievements of folks in our community who are making our county a better place to live. So the first up is our Youth of the Month, Commissioner Fleming.
Hold on. Pass that to Deb.
Oh, thank you.
That's a whole synopsis of this.
Oh, well, I have this. I am pleased to announce that the Youth of the Month for January 2022 is Kaylee Smith. Kaylee recently placed 6th in the IHSGW state meet. She is 4th in the NLC wrestling and is the highest placing female wrestler in Mishawaka High School history. Yes, all right. This would be an impressive record for any high school athlete, but Kaylee has done this all as a freshman. Congratulations, Kaylee. Would you and your parents, Brandon and Kelsey, like to say anything? Are you guys here? Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
So if you'd like to step up, give her a round of applause
Do,
first
yeah.
off. Then if you'd like to step up and say a couple words, that would be fantastic. And if you-
Coaches, want to come up and give a little?
Sherry Kaiser's here.
And then we'll have everyone come up, we'll take a picture, it'll be great. I love it.
Yes.
Your year and your weight class, sir?
So proud of that accomplishment. Very good.
Coach Sandifer here. I just want to thank you guys for having us and recognizing Kaylee today. Kaylee joined the Mishawaka Wrestling program 3 years ago as a 6th grader with Coach Yancey Gradeless here, who's now her high school coach. So he was her first coach and now her last coach as of right now. She wrestled at John Young Middle School. She placed she won the JV Big 11 championship. She was 5th place in 8th grade with all boys. And she was also wrestling with Coach Sandifer over here in the middle school. He's brought her along the way to us here at the high school. Coach Yancey, would you like to say anything? I'd also like to say thank you to the Smith family. You guys have been a huge help with the Mishawaka Wrestling program these years past, so thank you guys.
Thank you.
I just want to say I have 2 younger daughters that are coming up through. They're 7 and 11, and they look up to this girl like you wouldn't believe. She's a great inspiration to a lot of females around here. Very proud of her, and I do want to say thanks to the Smith family as well because they do a lot for our program.
Awesome. If you want to come up, we'll take a picture.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to thank all the coaches and everybody coming in here, and it's cool to see the coaches who
Yeah.
I known when they were probably younger than her, playing football and all that stuff with the Dieter boys. So it's great. And secondly, her mother, who I've known for a long, long time, best friends with my youngest daughter. So I've kind of watched her since she's been born and the achievements that you're doing in wrestling. So for those who aren't an athlete or don't wrestle, that. Just the amount of work, and it's you. You can't blame a teammate. You didn't get the ball, you didn't get the pass, it's you. And I encourage as many kids as I see to do it, just the conditioning aspect of wrestling, which is phenomenal, but what that does for your self-esteem. So I'm very impressed what the coaches have done, but more importantly, the work that you put in. Everybody says it's work. I think it's cool to lift and run and do physical stuff, so I don't consider that work. But we are very proud of you, what you're doing, representing Mishawaka, St. Joe County, and actually female wrestlers everywhere. So we're going to look for you coming back with state championships and colleges and all that stuff. So it's very good. So just stay focused, keep up the hard work. Congratulations to your parents because I know them and they're tough, so you're tough. So that's a good thing to have. So again, we're very proud of you and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yes, that's true. Very proud of you. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. And the other thing, too, is I know you play volleyball. That's what I did, too. Yes, volleyball. All right, good. Good job. Good athlete. Great. Congratulations. So would you like to come up?
Come
and
on
we
up, please.
I'll give you your gift here.
Mr. Castelli said it'll take you 2 out of 3 falls right now.
I'll go down 3 out of 3 falls.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go Pirates.
All right, next, it's my pleasure to present the January Citizen of the Month for St. Joseph County, and that's to Michael Williams. Michael is currently the Resident Services Coordinator for the Housing Authority of South Bend. As part of the Housing Authority's new administration, he has a heart for the residents of public housing and a focus on their many and diverse needs. He's been in this role only for less than a month, but less than a year. But he's created a number of programs and opportunities for youth, adults, and seniors involved in the Housing Authority. Michael's also co-founder of the Take Heart Youth Mentoring Program. Take Heart is a part of the Take 10 program and provides mentoring for youth who are most highly at risk. Take Heart works with and trains formerly incarcerated individuals as mentors and restorative justice practitioners who then work with the youth to help them change their life trajectories. Michael is a graduate of Holy Cross College with a degree in business, a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success, and Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Michael, round of applause, and come up and say a couple words if you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for this award. I'd first like to thank my beautiful wife, Ellen Williams, my mother and father-in-law, Joan and Ken Berner, for their love and support. And I'd also like to thank the Robinson Center, who took me in and welcomed me, made me a part of Take 10, in which I was able to develop Take Heart, a mentoring program where we take formerly incarcerated men and train them as mentors. I'm part of Restorative Justice Hub, and we're all doing a great job at changing the lives of youth. And I just enjoy what I'm doing, and I thank you for recognizing me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we call everyone up, Michael, thank you so much for the great work you do in our community. One of the things that we try and do is celebrate and highlight people who are truly making an impact, especially on the young people in our county, in our community. So thank you for all the great work that you do and that you're going to continue to do. So why don't you come on up? Oh, okay. Dude, see? You got to come firing, son.
Okay, that's cool. First, congratulations. It's kind of unique, because I will get with you probably when you were in high school or maybe grade school. We did over a decade youth program there with the police department and the housing authority, took kids to Washington DC actually. And also, we have a connection because I went to Holy Cross when I was a junior college, before Mr. Mish was born. So again, keep up the good work. It's the general public doesn't know the extent and how deep some of that stuff goes with backgrounds and being raised. So again, appreciate your help, and I'll get with you to tag along. So thank you. Good job. That's all I have, President Castelny.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Dieter. Come on up.
You guys have to stay for the meeting.
We're good.
You're good? Okay. All right, just make sure.
Thank you all again. All right, now we have approval of investment in the regional economic development. So we have, the St. Joe County has long been a partner in the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. So this is, we are involved in the first segment of funding. So this will continue our funding, annual contribution for the next 5 years. I think this entity does great work. It's a great partnership between the different local units of government, and then, of course, with the Chamber of Commerce and other economic development arms. And they've been responsible for bringing tens of millions of dollars to our local community through different grants. That kind of started after the regional cities piece. We realized we needed someone who could kind of help us organize all that. Any questions or
You
comments?
want to give what just the annual contribution?
$14,000 between
Right.
2018, well, this is what we get between 2018 and 2021. Then we're going to continue that.
A year.
Yep.
And, I might-
Questions or comments?
Oh, I just might make a comment that I'm very, very proud of the regional economic development strategy and how we're helping our economic development growth. So I'm glad that we're able to do that and help our area. So I'm glad about that. So
I agree with Commissioner Fleming.
If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
a motion to approve the investment in the regional economic development strategy.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, next up, we have a couple of board appointments, first being the Health Board. I will now open nominations.
I have a nomination of Ellen Rylander.
Are there any, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close nominations.
I will second Commissioner Fleming's.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So Ellen will be appointed to a two-year term ending in the end of 2024. I think it's important as well, this is a new appointment to the Health Board, and one of the requirements is that just normal citizens or that may not have a health background be part of this to kind of help balance out the board, and that's what this appointment will allow us to do. Next up, Hotel Motel Tax Board. I will, open nominations.
I have a recommend nominate Mickey Kidder. Nomination Mickey Kidder.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I will close nominations.
I will second Commissioner Fleming's recommendation.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. So bear with us. We've got a few items passed by the St. Joseph County Council. So we will, just to make sure we don't miss anything, we will handle each one of these as with a separate vote. All right, so at a public hearing held by the St. Joseph County Council on February 8, 2022, council took the following action. So the first item is Bill 1022, Ordinance 1522, establishing salaries with information technology. Are there questions or comments regarding this? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, we have Bill 1122, Ordinance 1622, establishing salaries for the county council. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, we have Bill 722, Ordinance 1722, establishing salaries for the coroner's office. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, is there anybody from the coroner's office online? Or Zooming? Mr. Augustino, do you have any, or Mr. Dalton, could you clue us in? I did not attend that county council meeting, sorry.
Mr. Dalton, Steve Dalton, Senator Dalton, financial advisor to the county. This request from the coroner's office is a housekeeping matter. The coroner has 2 full-time employees as deputy coroners. They have asked that those employees be raised to the level of the minimum salary that was approved for all employees of the county for 2022.
Okay, I think I was at that meeting, because wasn't there just some discussion that the council did not know that these were supposed to be full-time, and they thought they were part-time, is that right?
There may have been a couple of the 9 council people that said that. I do believe, in defense of the coroner's office, that the budget that was prepared did anticipate 2 full-time deputy coroners.
Okay, so just probably a miscommunication?
Could have been. There's a lot of data in the budget session last year.
Okay, thank you, I remember that now.
And I see Mr. Murphy's on the call as well, so if we have other questions related to that, he could provide some assistance.
John, are you on there?
Yes,
Yeah, I think you were at that meeting, correct? That was a question that the council apparently didn't know that. I
right.
think even you asked that question, right?
I think our office was assuming, because based on the salary amounts, which were fairly low, we thought they were part-time employees, but the coroner thought all along that they were full-time employees.
Okay, so everything's cool with this then?
Yes, we're fine with that.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, if there are no further questions or comments from the board, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do
Aye.
you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right, next, Bill 822, Ordinance 1822, establishing salaries for PSAP. Any questions or comments?
Yes.
Commissioner
Do
Dieter.
we have anybody from PSAP on Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ray, could you fill us in on, this is for a PIO?
Yes, so Ray Schultz, Executive Director of PSAP, opposite 58266 Downey Avenue. So this is a oversight in the budget process. We as part of the presentation to the executive board and through the council, we had discussed the PIO position that actually you had requested to be dedicated to PSAP Center. But there was a labeling issue within the budget. I missed it. I caught it late in the budget process when it was too late to amend. So was advised to take care of it after the first of the year. So this is, we already accounted for it, this position in health insurance. We already accounted for the position in all the taxes and pension. We just didn't fund it in the line item.
Okay. Ray, will this person also be part of like the ongoing recruiting, putting messages out for that to try to get people to come there, that type of stuff also?
So it's going to be, this position wear a couple of hats. Probably the main hat this position would be a community educator, where they go to schools, job fairs, career fairs, manage our social media accounts. So to answer your question, yes, it'll be a big part of our recruiting process, but it will also be a community educator getting out and teaching 911 to, school age kids where, we can make a difference in the community.
Okay, so this role filled several needs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 922, Ordinance 1922, establishing salaries for the Health Department. Now, this is for community health workers. Questions or comments?
Is Amy on here? We have a health person? Dr. Reinhardt?
Yes, I'm available. This is
Okay.
Amy, Department of Health Administrator.
Okay, could you just give me a brief synopsis of this?
Yes, this is a new grant that we received from the State Department of Health in order to mobilize 2 community health workers in our community to help reduce and take on the task of infant mortality.
Okay. This isn't like the proposed Portage and King office? Would that emanate out of there, or is this a different thing?
No, this is different.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second,
Commissioner Dieter, how do
I
you
vote
vote?
aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, we have Bill 622, Ordinance 2022. This is the monthly transfer and appropriations. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right. Next, we go to Bill 1622, Ordinance 2122. This is an appropriation from the Hotel Motel Tax Fund to the Potawatomi Zoo. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second,
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. And then we have Bill 422, Ordinance 3822. This is a change to the Area Plan Commission standards. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
motion to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right, so then we move on to ordinances and items that were passed as part of the, well, mostly part of the American Rescue Plan funds, but they kind of got grouped a little separately. So, stuff. Also at their public hearing held on February 8th, they passed these following ordinances. So the first is Bill 1322, which is ordinance 2222. And this is for the Health Department to establish a behavioral scientist. Are there any questions or comments?
So 2222 is what we need to move forward with, right?
That's what is on the table right
Okay,
now. That's
I
what we're
thought- I'm
discussing
sorry, I
right
thought it
now.
was 2122, my fault. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's way, way, way too expensive getting it from a grant for just $130,000. I think that's not appropriate, personally. I'm sorry.
So, another question, can I have a question? Either Amy or Dr. Einherz, could you explain this proposal?
Yeah, thanks so much, Commissioner Dieter. Bob Einter's Health Officer, offices on the 8th and 9th floor. As you all well know, the social determinants of health largely determine the health of any given individual or the individual's community. And so often in the course of interventions that we try to implement to improve the health of the community, we come up with a number of socio-behavioral type questions that beg for greater understanding. The individuals that are most capable of helping us examine these questions, solve and come up with effective, efficient solutions are social behavioral scientists. And so what we're looking for the next 2 years is an individual who is at a associate or professor level at one of the universities, who obviously has a PhD in social behavioral science, who can help us, who can help us address these questions and come up with, as I said, efficient and effective solutions. I'm happy to describe this in more detail. This is, of course, that we peg this salary based on the market. This is a market-driven salary. I, of course, am not the one that sets the salary at the universities, Indiana University, Notre Dame University, but for an associate or full professor in the social behavioral sciences, this is the salary that it will take if we want that sort of expertise to help us in this community.
Okay, and this, because I had 42 emails questioning this,
Mm-hmm.
this is a 2-year grant, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And after that grant is done, this person will not go on the county roles of an employee, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I view this very much similar to what we do in academia, where an individual is given a certain runway to be productive and to look for and obtain extramural funding. If they're unable to do so, then this position will not continue. It
Okay,
will
so
not-
this would not be
on your-
a burden on the county taxpayers, on our regular
is
county
correct.
employee? Okay,
Hope not.
That is correct.
thank you.
Welcome.
I see a hand raised from our public. Ms. Drake.
Thank you, Andy, for always letting us public comment. I wanted to start off by saying I did talk to
And you
Dr.
live in
Einherz.
Granger, correct, Ms. Drake?
Sorry, yes, I do live in
Excellent.
Granger.
Thank you.
Sorry. I did talk to Dr. Einherz about this position, which would cost $130,000 per year, and I really appreciate that he took the time with me to discuss it. I still don't think it's a good idea for the county, though. The total cost of this item is $345,000. This is the cost of funding the position for 2 years and adding the cost of benefits. I realize this money comes from grant money through Biden's American Rescue Plan, and this isn't the first time we've argued before you, asking you to reconsider even free money. First of all, I do not think the county needs a behavioral scientist. The job of this scientist, according to Dr. Einherz, is to examine how different factors affect the health of an individual here in St. Joe County. This is a research-oriented position which belongs at the university level, not at the county health department. In fact, the job is funded as if it would be at a university. When I spoke with Dr. Einherz, he told me he came up with how he would fund this job by looking at what similar positions pay at the university level. While I do not doubt that universities will pay this much, I do not think this is fiscally smart at the county level. Obviously, the county cannot afford to pay its employees salaries comparable with university levels, and a list of employee positions in the county backs this up. I pulled salary information for the county, and our sheriff here is the highest paid employee on the county payroll. He makes $161,000. Dr. Einherz is the second at $140,000. This behavioral scientist would be the third highest paid position in the county. Keep in mind, the chief of police is paid $94,000, the county engineer is paid $95,000, the executive director of economic development is paid $82,000. These are important and essential positions in the county, and they're paid much less. This behavioral scientist budget item is non-essential and too rich for the county. Like I said, this is a grant, so it's supposedly free to the county. However, a few things you need to consider. First of all, eventually this money will run out, and you'll have to either find another grant to fund it, eliminate the position, or find a way to fund it through the county. I know Dr. Einters just said it would not be continued, but I think once a position is established, there's always going to be people asking to keep that position. And this is a big ask for taxpayers. And second of all, this raises the bar on what the county sees as an acceptable funding level for its employees, especially ones that are not central to county operations. I believe hiring a behavioral scientist at this cost of $345,000 to the county would set a bad precedent for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You.
Are there other questions or comments?
Well, I may like a comment because I do agree with what Amy said. And again, if they needed that, maybe if it was half that price, and maybe that's okay, we could afford it and do better, but I just think it's too much. And then again, I feel the scientist position is too expensive to put into place at the county level. So I'm not sure, that would, and then if we really, do we really need it in the county to establish what, we're doing health-wise? When we have doctors there that can assess things too. So anyway, that's just my thoughts, so.
All right, a couple of quick statements. I am concerned with the rate of pay for that, but sometimes you have to pay what the market bears, and that's one of the challenges we have at the county, is that we're not always able to do that. But I think here's a situation where we have funding available. I think it's something that could certainly be beneficial, and I have seen in the past with the health department, particularly, that we've had grant-funded positions that have not extended past. So when the grant funding was eliminated, the position was eliminated. So I've seen that in the past as well. So I think Commissioner Dieter touched on that, so I think that's very important, that if this position were to continue, they would have to raise outside funding to fund that, otherwise the position would go away. So I think it's another step that we can use appropriate resources to help make our county healthier for our citizens. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Second?
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
How about aye?
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right. Excuse me. Bill 1422, which is ordinance 2322. This is for a data analyst in the auditor's office. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Moving on to 1522, ordinance 2422, $125,000 for the Humane Society. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, do we have anybody out here that could answer a question on this? Mr. Dalton, apparently.
When in doubt,
Okay, do you know specifically the intention? Or
the
is
Humane
just?
Society approached the American Rescue Plan Committee with various requests for capital improvements to their facility.
It's not
This is-
for employee, it's capital?
This is not for employees. This is
Okay.
for capital improvements.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No question.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry, you have any comments? Son?
No, I
I'm sorry.
was going to approve also, so cool, thank you. I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 1722, ordinance 2522, $160,000 for Unity Gardens. Any questions or comments?
Would you like to say something, young lady? Not you.
60,000.
Sarah.
Yeah. The grant.
Sarah Stewart with Unity Gardens. I just want to say how thrilled I am to even be here in the position of trying to explain how much this can mean to our community. Imagine the last 13 years and what's gone from one little free food garden to an entire edible park. where we can improve the wellness of our community from the ground up. So I'm very, very grateful. I think that those most vulnerable, people in wheelchairs, elderly, which I'm right there, and those with mobility issues will now be able to access the garden with your support. So thank you so much. This is absolutely a thrill.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for all of the years that you've been down and digging and planting and doing all the work. And I remember when you started and now where you're all at. So if you haven't seen it out on Ardmore, across from Beacon Heights, phenomenal setup there, everything that you guys are doing for the community, and everything you've done. So this is money well spent. So keep the good work. Good job.
Long as I can, right? But I'll be able to wheel out there later.
Okay.
Thank you.
I agree with him too, and I appreciate helping you too, so I appreciate everything that you can do. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's wonderful to look around the room and see all like friends. It's beautiful. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 1822, Ordinance 2622, the Village to Village Oasis Project for $500,000. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 1922, Ordinance 2722, $750,000 to the Youth Services Bureau. Questions or comments?
How many more questions do I have?
You have as many as you want,
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Dieter.
Do we have I don't know, Steve, or if anybody on there can, again, I'm just trying to, is this,
I think we have Ms. McGowan is on.
okay. Hey, how are you? You give us a brief synopsis of the funding for this?
Sure. So this would be funding for YSB's new building that will serve homeless and at-risk youth across St. Joseph County. And this is a part of our, sorry, I had interference. This is a part of our capital campaign project, and we have secured, this is a shovel-ready project that is ready to go, and we've secured a little over $4 million in support of the project already. So we appreciate the opportunity to apply.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad that you're moving forward with this. I'm glad we're helping you. Yes, good.
If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. I guess I should have led with this before this portion of the, this is an additional step that hasn't necessarily been taken in the recent past, but in giving some advice from our friends downstate, they thought this was a more effective way that we should continue to follow the protocol of an ordinance gets passed and it goes to the Board of Commissioners as well. So this is a belt and suspenders kind of situation. So that's why we do appreciate all the folks who are coming forward with giving us additional information on that too. All right, next up, Bill 2022, Ordinance 2822, $477,000 for technology for Circuit and Superior Court to kind of complete a technology upgrade for that portion of the court system. Questions or comments?
Sure. I attended some of these meetings. I think this is money well spent, just the technology to bring St. Joe County and the courts in this, which people who don't know around here, how busy our criminal justice system is, especially on this side of all the things that need to be done, records kept. So again, all of the judges that came and made the presentation, it's a very, very good thing to do what they're doing of upgrading all the technology there.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 2122, Ordinance 2922, $150,000 to Dukem Center. Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Bill 2222, Ordinance 3022, $1 million grant to the Center for the Homeless. Any questions or comments?
Sure. Mr. Camilleri, are you there?
I think Steve is there.
Steve,
Yes.
what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Having a great time, buddy. Hey, can you just give a brief synopsis for those who aren't aware? Because some people, I think, have a misconception of the funding that y'all get. And I was here for your presentation. Very good, by the way. If you could just give a brief synopsis of that, what this is going to consist of.
Sure. Well, thank you. And it's just really exciting to be here and see our colleagues getting the funding to do great things. We're really honored to be included. I wish I could have all the guests on the Zoom to say thank you. We're going to renovate a space that's in desperate need. The building's over 100 years old. We're going to be able to renovate all the family rooms, our women's dorm, our men's dorm, our front desk area, provide more social distancing, trauma-informed spaces. It's just an incredible opportunity for us. We'd already raised about 1.6. This million gets us closer to that 3.8 million finish line, and I'm just incredibly grateful for this opportunity.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Thank you, Steve.
Glad to help you.
Thank you.
All right, next, 2422, Ordinance 3222, $3.675 million to United Way. I think I see Laura on the call as well. Anything you'd like to add?
No, just how incredibly grateful we are for this opportunity. It's a $42 million countywide capital campaign in which we have raised 10.3 and counting. So the Southeast is currently under construction, getting ready to open in early August, and looking at starting the other ones sooner rather than later. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Sure. Hey, I have a question. I was at that ARP meeting, and I asked a question at the time of any other areas of funding. And I asked the question specifically about Notre Dame, and the answer was they're waiting to see what we give. So are they going to match this?
I can't speak to that, but we have meetings scheduled with the Community Foundation as well as 2 other private foundations that are very encouraged about the funding from the county. And so we hope to be able to share this positive news with them. So those meetings are scheduled for Thursday, Friday, and then the Community Foundation will be in March.
Okay, good. I thank you, because I'd like to thank the county council for taking the lead. So I hope all the other entities that have funding help what y'all are doing. So good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
I'm
vote?
voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, we have Bill 2522, Ordinance 3322, a little over $100,000 to the Warren Township Fire Department. Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
A quick question. Did we skip 3122, or is that coming up?
That's what I was wondering too. That's why I asked.
Be cultivate?
I don't know that Cultivate was in,
3120.
yeah, it's not in the packet.
Really?
So, let's make sure it wasn't. Oh. It was in the packet. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Just helping,
It was
man. Just
paper
trying to help
clipped
you out,
together in
President,
another one.
Mr. Castelny.
All right, well,
Thank
let's
you.
just pivot back to ordinance 2322.
7 years at St. Joe.
I'm sorry, Bill 2322, ordinance 3122 for Cultivate Food Rescue.
Okay, since we're here, the question I have on the front, we have it's $1 million, but on the second page, it's $2 million. Because I think Mr. Kanarecki, it originally was at 2, correct, right? And then they took it to 1? Sorry to make you get up.
You keep pointing to my side of the room. The appropriation that was passed by the council was 1 million.
So
There
this
was
needed to be
conversation prior about 2 million, and it was revised to 1 million.
Oh, okay.
We're checking with the attorney to see what we need to do here.
Good.
Sidebar. Probably just the paperwork.
Well, yeah, the assumption is the
Ordinance is only $1 million,
Right.
so
Okay,
it'll
so
be
we're
fine.
cool.
That's what it says here,
Okay.
a million.
Anyone from Cultivate?
Yeah, I'm here. Jim Conklin, Executive Director,
Okay, Jim,
South
just
Bend.
for the people here and on Zoom, could you tell, because we've been out there several times, just want to give everybody who hasn't, just a brief.
Yeah, we're building we're doing an expansion over a building. The large portion of that is a community cold storage facility. We serve pantries in St. Joe County, Elkhart County, Marshall County, along with 1,000 students in a weekend backpack program for those 3 counties. About 6,000 meals every single week go to children in need in our community from our facility, all with rescued and redirected food. So our community pantries are lacking cold storage space. So this is not just an asset for Cultivate to use. This will be an asset for all those pantries in our community, plus social service agencies that feed the vulnerable population in our community. So it's about a $4.9 million project for a 12,000 square foot addition for the cold storage facility, some office space, and parking lot. We had 4,000 volunteers that came into our facility last year, so we do need to expand our parking lot here. This building was formerly owned by the South Bend Tribune and was used for paper storage. And we have a unique mission on rescue and redirecting food. Was able to do that 1.2 million pounds last year in 2021, and really from a sustainability point of view, provide a great benefit to the environment, and at the same time feed our vulnerable community members. So we're extremely pleased. This is an amazing vote of confidence by the county. Unlike the other great organizations here, we're at the beginning of our capital campaign. So to have a gift of this size really is a game changer for us, Derek, and really will help us reach that $4.9 million target in a major way. So super thankful for your vote of confidence in our mission and what we're doing here at Cultivate.
Okay, and you want to throw out a contact for people if they would like to volunteer?
Yeah, Shelley Allwine does that at our facility, but you just go to our website, cultivateculinary.com. There's a volunteer button and page, and it's easy to sign up, and we invite all you to come in and see what we're doing here. It's an amazing use of resources that we already have, perishable food items that we get to redirect to people that are right here in our community. And I say we're unique. This is a homegrown solution in St. Joe County, and I'm not aware of anything quite like it across the country.
Yep, again, I appreciate everything y'all are doing. I think round 2 of rescue money be one in May, I believe. We hope. But you could also contact the city of South Bend because they have a lot of American Rescue money also. So keep up the good work, man. See you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right, now Bill 2622, Ordinance 3422. Any questions or comments?
Did we miss one though? You gotta go back to the fire.
Fire. You okay? 3320, you all right?
Did we not? I thought we didn't pass 3322.
I don't think we addressed
We
it.
did pass 3322.
Well, just to be sure.
Did we pass?
We will, so Bill 2522, Ordinance 3322 for the Warren Township Fire Department.
We did that.
Any questions or comments?
I move for approval.
Yeah, second. We already did.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
I had crossed it out.
You shouldn't put me in charge, that's just the problem. All right, now we'll try to get back on track.
Right.
Bill 2622, Ordinance 3422. Allocation or for the Motels for Now program. Any questions or comments?
Are you going to make a comment, or do you want to proceed with that, or how do you want to go?
So I guess there have been some questions that have been raised by, let's say some questions have been raised. So we want to try and make sure that we can get those questions answered before moving forward with this. So I think the intention would be to veto this, to send it back to council until we can get those questions answered.
Right, there's just some questions about a whole things that we want to make sure everything is correct when we're allocating funding, so that's where we're at with this. So I will second your motion for a veto.
So there was a motion to veto it?
That's correct.
Okay, so moved. Veto it. And there's a second?
Second.
Any other comments? You guys are good?
Not at this
Commissioner
time.
Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castelny, as a point of order, there are two subrecipient agreements that would go along with this. I don't know if you want to address those immediately or you want to wait.
What is your recommendation, Mr. Mish?
I think you might want to take them up now.
Okay. And I believe,
The Tulsi?
Tulsi and Our Lady of the Road, the last two.
so this would be the subrecipient agreement for Tulsi Investment LLC and for Our Lady of the Road Incorporated.
I'll move to veto for the same reasons we just gave on the other one.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. It's kind of cool. All right. Our last ordinance is Bill 2722, Ordinance 3522, $226,000 for infrastructure planning and growth for engineering services. Any questions or comments?
Sure. Bill here? Chris Brown? Sky?
Yep,
Somebody?
I'm on Zoom. Christian Brown's on Zoom.
Okay, yeah, can you just give us a quick overview of this?
Yes, this is basically a plan for a preliminary design and engineering for a southwest broadband loop. So this would basically go from the casino down State Route 23 towards North Liberty, kind of go through Main Street of North Liberty, connect into Walkerton, and then it would also feature a stub moving east along State Route 4 that would then connect into an existing conduit on Old US 31 near Lakeville. And so that would provide a redundant loop for that smaller piece, which would also include potential connection to the Potato Creek Inn going in at the state park there. So this is just the design and engineering phase of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to thank you, because when I was campaigning, that's one of the things I talked about in my old district. So again, I appreciate everything you're putting down there for the current commissioner down there, President Castelny.
Appreciate it as well.
Well, yeah, I do too. Appreciate
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
a motion to approve.
Second that.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'll go with an aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. So that ends the items, the ordinances that were passed. I also want to give a great deal of thanks to our county council for the hard work, along with the auditor's office, Mr. Dalton. This was a Herculean task to try and get this money out into the hands of those folks. And I think shows St. Joseph County's commitment to trying to use these funds that were made available to be impactful in a wide number of circumstances with our community, and to hopefully infuse those folks who are doing such great work to help them do even greater work. So thank especially to all our subrecipients, which we'll go through some of those agreements now, but all the great work that our county council did in making this happen. All right.
We did 3822? Did we do 3822? I thought I didn't have that marked off.
I don't.
Sorry.
There is no 3822.
There is no 3822.
Well, because I had it, okay.
Oh, no, we did that.
Huh?
3822 was in the initial tranche of these.
Okay,
Was approved,
okay.
yes.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you.
All right. Moving on to some subrecipient agreements. The first one is with United Way. This just memorializes the monies that were allocated earlier. Anything else I missed there?
Unless Mr. Dalton wants to speak on how this is being allocated with matching funds?
It would be my pleasure. Each of the subrecipient agreements spells out the agreement between the county and the subrecipient for, in most cases, 50% of the dollars will be funded immediately. The remaining 50% will be drawn as the subrecipient raises funds from other sources. So you pause for just a second there and think in terms of $1 million appropriation that you just made for the Center for Homeless. They will get $500,000 immediately, and then they'll raise money from other sources to match the second $500,000 as they draw those from the county. This was thought of as a way to lever the dollars from the American Rescue Plan with these subrecipients. One subrecipient that does not fall into that same category is the Humane Society as a provider of services to the county. They are not being requested to get matching dollars. They'll get their entire funding up front.
Any questions for Mr. Dalton? All right, we're good to proceed. The first agreement is with the United Way of St. Joseph County. Questions or comments? So, Counselor, should we act on a single vote for each, separate vote for each one of these, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Is there a motion?
Well, yes, there is a motion to agree, or to approve this with the United Way of St. Joseph County Incorporated.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next up, the Humane Society. Is there a motion?
Humane Society. Motion to approve this with the Humane Society.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next agreement, Village to Village International.
Move for approval?
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Agreement with Unity Gardens. Is there a motion?
Move for approval?
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Cultivate Culinary School.
Move for approval?
What did you call it?
Cultivate Food Rescue.
Second. We have a motion,
Cultivate
second.
Food Rescue, I think.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Youth Service Bureau.
Move for approval?
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, Center for the Homeless.
Move for approval?
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. And the other two, we did not take action on, which we could at a later point in time.
The other two you vetoed.
Right. All right, that moves us into Human Resources. Approval to amend a contract for the Executive Director of the Area Plan Commission. So this is to kind of clean up some language and to put Abby on par with some of her fellow department head members. Anything else I missed, Kim?
Kim Karkowitz, Human Resource Director, St. Joseph County, offices on the 7th floor. That is correct. This is a housekeeping matter to correct a oversight in the agreement with Abby Wells, and wanted to make sure that this gets corrected on her behalf.
Any questions or comments?
No, good job, because there's a lot of, with all of our employees, everything that your office does, sometimes things get caught up a little bit. So again, thanks for catching this, because this is an employee who's very phenomenal, does a tremendous job, so thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
There's a motion to approve this contract for the Executive Director for the Area Plan Commission with Abby Wiles.
Second, Abby.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. All right, next, approval of employment contract for project manager. Action that we took earlier in the meeting, create a project manager space for Mr. Scott Seff, who is transitioning from our IT director to this role. We've got a lot of projects from an IT standpoint that we're in the middle of, and more that we would like to do in the future. So this make sure we can dedicate a staff member to making sure all these projects happen and continue. So I think it's a great step that the county is making to show the importance of a lot of the items that we're looking to accomplish. And then later on, we'll address the search for a new IT manager or director. Any questions or comments?
Well, this was approved by the County Attorney Pete Agostino, so.
So this was drawn up by our county attorneys on all drafts and reviewed, and will go into effect February 14th, the beginning of our pay period.
Okay. And is my understanding there is no background check on this? I have no further questions.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this employment contract for the project manager with Scott Seneff.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Thank you, Kim.
Congratulations. Have fun.
And condolences, more importantly than congratulations. Moving on to the Health Department, approval to apply for a grant to provide food for workers at COVID clinics held at the University of Notre Dame. Miss Amy.
Yes, Amy Rupie, Administrator with the Department of Health, offices on the 8th and 9th floor of the County City Building. And the State Department of Health has sent funds to the Department of Health to pass along to Notre Dame for the COVID clinics that were held in March of 2021 to pay for the food that was provided to its workers.
Any questions or comments?
What's the final outcome, or what's the value of the grant, do you know? Or it's just,
It's a one-time payment of $27,475.39. That is the exact amount of the invoices from Notre Dame.
awesome, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this grant provide for the workers of the COVID clients at the University of Notre Dame.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, approval for medical record agreement for County Health Department. Barrister.
Good morning, Commissioners. Peter Agostino, Attorney at Law with offices at 131 South Taylor Street, South Bend, Indiana, and many pounds ago, a wrestler as well. So I'm happy you honored a wrestler this morning. So this agreement is an agreement that allows the Health Department to move into the 21st century with electronic record. And it was a somewhat of a loose end that was being looked at one point by Mr. Mish's predecessor, Mr. Jamie, now Judge Woods. There was a couple questions regarding certain points in the agreement that Mr. Mish and I have reviewed, and we think that the commissioner should move forward with it. I think Dr. Bob is online too, that it can explain on how the funding for this would work. But we're recommending that this agreement be adopted, and we'll answer any questions you may have.
Are there in fact any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the medical record agreement for the County Health Department.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Moving on to PSAP, approval of settlement agreement with AFSCME regarding late payment under CBA for 911 dispatchers.
Again, Peter Augustino, attorney at law, 131 South Taylor Street, South Bend. So we had a little glitch this year in administering the provision of the collective bargaining agreement, which provided for our employees over there who work very hard to receive some longevity pay in their first paycheck in January. I think that glitch has been corrected. However, as a result of that, certain employees, quite a few of them, had issues with late fees and other things as a result of that. And so an agreement was negotiated to make up for some of those losses at a rate of $150 per employee. And that's what this agreement does.
Any questions or comments?
What's the ballpark figure of the total cost of that?
It's going to be close to $10,000.
Okay. So again, things that sometimes fall between the cracks, we always seem to catch them and take care of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the settlement agreement for updating the payments.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. The next, approval of professional engineering services, emergency communication tower project.
Again, Peter Augustino, attorney at law, 131 South Taylor Street, South Bend, Indiana. So before you is an agreement to provide engineering services for the North End Tower. There was a project that had several parts in this. We've been before the Board of Commissioners here several times. Part of the contract involved construction of the tower, which, in my opinion, that portion was a public works portion, which requires it to go out to bid. As part of that bidding process, we are required to retain, the county is required to retain an engineer architect to come up with these specifications. This particular company, after research, actually specializes in exactly this type of design and is very well experienced with the type of Motorola equipment that we already have in place. So we have, Mr. Schultz and I have interviewed them. We've looked at the pricing on this. It's very, very competitive. We don't have to bid out the engineering portion of it. But this is the last step in before we can then move forward with opening up for bids for the construction of that tower, which is needed on the north end of the county.
Questions or comments?
Sure, a comment and probably a question also. Just like to thank Ray at PSAP. This has been something that's needed for police, fire, all emergency vehicles and stuff for the radio transmission. Sometimes you get way out in the northeast part of the county. Sometimes radio transmission could not be heard and transmitted. So again, thanks, Ray. Is there anything else you want to just quickly tell people who are here and on Zoom of the process and all that?
So this process, we and actually one of the things that we chose this company for was that way local companies can bid on the project. So we can't have a local company do the design and the specification and then bid on the project themselves. So this allows local companies to bid on that, which is a big help. And then we'll get this. So we'll get these specifications. We'll put it out to bid. It's about a 24-month build process. The heavy lifting is at the beginning. I've talked with Bill Shalio about the topographical survey of the planned site. We've got preliminary FAA approval. We'll have to dig into that a little deeper. So it's a pretty complex project, doing a lot of heavy lifting at the front, but this will help, expedite the process along the way.
All right, thanks, man.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to ask, is this going to be CNS Engineering's that did you mention that already, that we're going to work with them?
Well, so
You
they
said that in here. That's what I was just wondering.
Yeah, so what CNS will do, they'll prepare the specifications for bidding, and I'm glad Ray did mention that. One of the reasons we went with this company as well is so that we did not end up excluding other companies locally from bidding on the project. So they're going to prepare the specification side of it.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this professional engineering services.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister. Moving on to infrastructure planning and growth. First item is the consent agenda. We have irrevocable letter of credit for Clover Hill subdivision, accept subdivision bond in Vernus Woods Phase 2, and a series of irrevocable letters of credit for Fernwood Section 3, Cloverleaf Farm Section 3. New Prairie Canals Phase 3 subdivision, New Prairie Canals Phase 1, first replat subdivision, Boulder Bay subdivision, Westwood Canals subdivision, the Farm subdivision, Audubon Woods Section 2, Stone Oak Farm subdivision, and New Prairie Canals Phase 4 subdivision. Questions or comments regarding any of these items?
Could you repeat that? I couldn't.
I can, but I choose not to.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this consent agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, we have approval of IEC broadband expansion project completion affidavit. Mr. Sky.
What this is this is just the final paperwork item that we need to do to close this project out. This was the main broadband expansion project. We've reviewed this project completion affidavit and request your approval.
Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this approval for the IEC broadband expansion project.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, approval to advertise Douglas Road Bittersweet Roundabout Intersection Improvement Expansion Project. Nope, just improvement.
Yeah, this is a request to advertise for a federal grant that we received. This is LPA Project 8020. This will be advertising for engineering, for consultants to provide letters of interest for engineering and right-of-way services for improving the Douglas Road, Bittersweet Road intersection, looking at a roundabout there. It'll be advertised on February 18th and 25th, and then subsequently, they'll be submitted to the board, and we'll take those, review them, and make a selection per NDOT requirements. And we've looked through this and request your approval to advertise.
Any questions or comments?
You have a ballpark figure what that grant would be?
The amount, I believe, I'm shooting from the hip here, was around, the total amount of the project was around $3 million. So that's 80% federal, and we'll pay the other 20%.
And then ballpark figure on start of construction would be?
We're looking at, it's a 2027 project.
I won't be here. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve to advertise for the Douglas Road Bittersweet Roundabout intersection improvement.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you done with everything? I just wanted to compliment your guys and all the highway guys for when snow comes at one time. I only got 5 calls. I went out, and everybody, after explaining the 743 calls this actually have to do, along with the roads, along with the staffing. So tell everyone that they've done a great job, and I'm sure you're very happy for 50 degrees. So
I am extremely happy for 50 degrees, as our highway personnel are. I just want to say too, I mean, thank you for that, and they did a phenomenal job. We did get calls in, which are great. If people see something, they should call in. But yeah, thank you for that, and I'll let them know.
All right, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to approval of we already covered the American Rescue Brand Southwest Broadband Extension Project. Do we need to take separate action on that?
So Chris Brown, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th, 11th floors. I think the original.
Was the appropriation.
The
This is
ARP was
the-
the
yep,
appropriation, this is the actual contract.
Contract, yep.
Yep. So before you is the actual contract in the amount of $226,700 for Lockmuller, who did all of the design and engineering work for the IEC broadband, so they're familiar with the types of permits and some of the design that we would need to do to get this Southwest broadband expansion out there. So we would request your approval.
Questions or comments?
Again, thank you. It's, everybody out there has asked for this, and the county has delivered, so great job putting everything out there for everybody.
You will approve for the R&R excavating, right? That's what you approve for?
No, this is for Lockmuller. This is a professional service proposal.
Oh, okay.
I'll move for approval.
Yeah. Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a series of demolition quotes. First one is State Road 2 and Larison Boulevard property. Mr. Bill.
Good morning, Bill Shalio, Department of Infrastructure Planning Growth Offices on the 7th, 11th floor. We have 3 demolition quotes. All 3 quotes were opened. They were sealed quotes opened at the last redevelopment commission meeting last Tuesday, February 8th. The first proposal before you today for a demolition quote is for the northeast corner of State Road 2 and Larison Boulevard. R&R Excavating submitted the low quote at $78,710, and staff had asked for your approval.
Questions or comments?
Is that one of the properties that the county owned?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was the property that for years had mini storage warehouse units on it, and then the property
So
immediately
basically
north.
for cleaning up the intersection and
Yes.
doing all that, okay.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next demolition quote for 56275 Snowberry Road.
56275 Snowberry Road is a commission, or a council, or Board of Commissioner-owned piece of property just northeast of the property at 2 in Larison. Again, there were 2 quotes that were opened at that meeting. The low quote was from Jackson Demolition Services Enterprise LLC in the amount of $47,000. Staff would ask for your approval of this demolition quote.
Questions or comments?
What's the square footage, do you know the square footage of that property?
The house, there's a house.
What were the demolition of?
The house is about 2,200 square feet with a basement. There's a slab in the back where there had been a storage building. We're also clearing trees so that the farmer that we have a contract with can actually farm more of the site. So we've got to take out the well and septic. So there's a little bit more work on the site than we would typically do for a demolition, but it's trying to make it farmable and cleared for that use.
Okay, but that's, I guess that's the question of, what does the demolition also take into fact of taking septic and all that out?
It does,
Okay.
yes. Yep, yep.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this demolition quote.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. And then demolition quote for 12900 East McKinley Avenue.
Again, this is the third of 3 demolition quotes. This piece of, this building is actually owned by the Redevelopment Commission. It's a house. It was the 51st house of the 51 houses acquired as part of the original General Motors Hummer project nearly 21 years ago. This house was left and used for different uses on site. The Jackson Demolition Services Enterprise LLC was the low quote at $24,500. This is more in line with what demolition quotes are for houses. We're not taking trees, we're not taking driveways, we're not taking things. So this is probably more in line with a general demolition quote as opposed to the last one, so.
Questions or comments?
Negative.
Is there a motion?
There's a motion to approve this demolition quote for McKinley Avenue.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next, St. Joseph County Police. Approval from St. Joe County to accept police vehicle, 2011 Dodge Challenger.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Troy Warner, the attorney for the Sheriff's Department. office inside the jail at 401 West Sample Street. Unlike Attorney Augustino, I never wrestled, but I've been losing weight and getting in shape, and maybe I'll think about becoming a wrestler. So these two items, the next two, the department has a couple officers that are placed with federal agencies, in particular DEA, FBI, and ATF. These two vehicles were seized by one of those federal agencies, and then an asset forfeiture process was put in place by the U.S. Attorney. This is a request for the approval for the department to receive those vehicles. The statutes, the federal law requires that we pay 20% of the appraised value of the vehicles. Those funds will be taken out of our asset forfeiture account. There are also instances where drug money is seized and the department receives that, and that will be used to make the 20% payments of the value of the vehicles to the Department of Justice. The first vehicle is a Dodge Challenger. It'll be used for undercover unmarked operations, primarily by the DEA agent that was involved in seizing the vehicle. And we would just ask for your approval to receive that vehicle.
Questions or comments?
Are you talking about both vehicles at this time or just the Challenger first?
We brought two separate approvals. I can
Okay.
talk about the next vehicle.
Yeah, what's the
votes.
Yamaha? Is that a motorcycle, boat? What is that?
The Yamaha is it's a four-wheeler, so we'll use it for
The
search
trails?
and rescue.
Trail
We've
patrol?
recently had two missing persons, and we've had to search large areas out in the south kind of end of the county and the far west end of the county where we've had to go through woods and fields. So we'll use that primarily for search and rescue, and then also that would be handy to have down at the 4-H fair also.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions or comments?
Do we approve with the same, both
I
of
think
them with the same?
I think we should do two separate
Or
votes.
that's what I was just wondering,
Yep.
yeah.
So is there a motion?
Yes, there's a motion to approve the St. Joseph County to accept the police vehicle 2011 Dodge Challenger.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Going aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. And then accept the 2017 Yamaha. Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve that.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Troy. Old business items are remaining as old business. Public comments. Are there any public comments? You have 3 minutes to address the Board of Commissioners. First, we'll go with anyone in the room. Any public comments
Russo, come on,
for those folks in the room? All right, now we'll move on to those folks online. I see.
This is Ellen Rylander. I just wanted to thank you for entrusting me with this appointment to the Board of Health. I'm born and raised in this county, and I'm raising my own family here. So it's an honor to have the chance to serve my fellow citizens in this way. One thing I wanted to say, in the health code, the Indiana General Assembly requires that the local boards of health include not just doctors and engineers, though obviously they're important members, but also representatives of the general public. And I think this reflects the General Assembly's wise realization that everyone in the community, whether a mom with young children like me, a business owner, a truck driver, or heaven forbid, even a lawyer, is affected by public health issues and therefore should have a voice in how public health decisions are made. So as now the newest member of the Board of Health, I'm tasked with this responsibility of representing the general public. So I look forward to being a voice for the people of the community in public health matters, and in conveying concerns and issues that people in our community have with the health department. And it looks like I'm going to have to deal with some issues regarding wooden trains right now. So thank you.
Can you put the kids on?
Thank
Do they want
you.
anything to say?
They can wave. Do you want to say hi? There they are. There they are. Oh, they ran away.
What's up,
There-
buddy?
There's a big debate here over whether it's better to pretend that the wooden trains are real or whether they're Thomas the Tank Engine characters. So there we go.
All right, thank you.
Thank
So I
you.
use my negotiating skills a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Any other public comment?
Why don't you turn your
Seeing
picture back?
and hearing none, a motion to recess
I
is
think
in order.
Mr. Sky is laughing. I think he wants to share something with the commissioners at this time.
Does that motion to recess exist? I'll move it. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Perhaps Sky would like to tell the class what's so funny? Had a good meeting, buddy. See, it wasn't so hard. Yeah. It was fun. I guess